So, this story takes place in Germany in 1922, just after World War I. There was a small farm called Hinterkaifeck, sitting miles from the nearest village. No close neighbors, no real traffic, just fields, trees, and a single dirt road leading in. The kind of place where, if something happens, you either hear it or you don't hear anything at all. And that isolation matters. A family lived there, the Grubers. Andreas Gruber, his wife, their adult daughter, Victoria, her two young children, and a new maid who had only recently arrived. Not long before everything happened, the previous maid quit. She said the house was haunted. She told people she heard footsteps in the attic at night, heavy ones, slow ones, like someone pacing back and forth. Most people laughed it off. But here's the thing, the footsteps didn't stop after she left. In the days leading up to the murders, Andreas Gruber began noticing things that didn't sit right. Footprints appeared in the snow. They came from the forest, straight to the house. But there were no footprints leading away. A set of keys went missing. Farm tools were moved, then turned up again in places they didn't belong. And at night, the attic noises returned. Not scratching, not scurrying, movement. Gruber climbed into the attic himself, lantern in hand. He searched the space carefully. He found nothing, no one. And still, the sounds continued. Despite all of this, the family didn't leave. Life on the farm went on as usual. Animals were fed, chores were done, meals were cooked, and that might be the most unsettling part, because something was clearly wrong, and yet they stayed. A few days passed, then the silence became noticeable. The children didn't show up for school, mail piled up, no smoke rose from the chimney. Eventually, a small group of neighbors went to the farm to check on the family. They didn't go inside first. They went to the barn. That's where they found the bodies, 4 of them. Andreas, his wife, their daughter, Victoria, and her young daughter. They had been killed with a farming tool. Later, investigators realized something chilling. They hadn't all been attacked at once. They had been lured into the barn, one by one, which means whoever did this wasn't rushing. They were patient. Inside the house, they found the remaining 2 victims, the new maid and the youngest child, both in their beds. By this point, the horror was already overwhelming, but then the situation got worse, because almost immediately, the crime scene was destroyed. Neighbors walked freely through the house. People touched things. Some even cleaned parts of the barn. And during all of this chaos, investigators noticed something that made the case unforgettable. The animals had been fed. The fire in the stove had been kept going. Someone had stayed on the farm after the murders. Not for a few minutes. For days. They ate food from the kitchen. They tended to the animals. They lived there, surrounded by the dead. And no one has ever been able to explain why. No money was stolen, no valuables taken. There was no clear motive. Suspects were named over the years, neighbors, drifters, even family members. But nothing ever held up. No confession, no arrest. Eventually, the farmhouse was torn down. The land was cleared. Today, there's nothing left to mark where it once stood. But the questions never went away. Who was in the attic? Why did the footprints lead to the house, but not away? And maybe the hardest question of all, why would someone stay? Why would someone remain in that house, feeding animals and keeping the fire burning, knowing exactly what waited in the barn? Some stories end with answers, others don't. Hinterkaifeck is one of the ones that doesn't, and nearly a century later, it still refuses to explain itself.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear.